Fractured Paths, a story of loss, growth, and rediscovering joy. Sometimes life doesn't just surprise us, it breaks us open. But in those cracks, we find light. In those shattered pieces, we find strength. This is Emma's story. A journey from heartbreak to healing, from loss to self-discovery. And maybe in her story, you'll find a piece of your own. Emma had it all, or so she believed. A stable job, a cozy apartment in the city, and a 5-year relationship with Liam that felt like forever. They had plans, marriage, kids, a house with a little garden. It was all mapped out. But life doesn't always follow the maps we make. One cold November morning, Liam sat her down at their kitchen table, his eyes distant, his voice hollow. "I love you, but I'm not in love with you anymore." It felt like the world stopped spinning. Their plans evaporated in that single sentence. The apartment they shared became a museum of broken promises. Emma packed her life into boxes, leaving behind not just Liam, but the version of herself who believed in their forever. Grief isn't just for death, it's for the loss of dreams, of futures that never happened. Emma moved into a tiny studio apartment, the walls bare, the silence deafening. Friends tried to help, offering words like "you'll find someone better" or "it's for the best." But those words felt empty. She wasn't ready to move on. She wasn't ready to be fine. Some days she couldn't get out of bed. Other days she felt angry, at Liam, at herself, at the world. But grief isn't linear. It's messy, unpredictable, and exhausting. And in that mess, Emma realized something important. She had to let herself feel it all before she could heal. One morning, Emma packed her car and drove without a destination. She needed space, not just from Liam, but from the life that reminded her of him. Hours later, she found herself in a small coastal town she'd never heard of. The salty air felt like a breath of fresh possibilities. She rented a tiny, weathered cottage near the water, the kind of place that felt both foreign and familiar, like something out of a forgotten dream. At first, she did nothing but exist. Long walks along the shore, endless nights staring at the ceiling. But in the quiet, something began to shift. She wasn't drowning in her heartbreak anymore. She was learning how to float. One rainy afternoon, Emma stumbled into a small bakery. The scent of cinnamon and fresh bread wrapped around her like a warm hug. The owner, a kind older woman named Margaret, noticed Emma's lost expression. "You look like you could use a distraction," she said with a knowing smile. The bakery needed help, and Emma needed something to fill her days. Working with her hands became therapy. Kneading dough, decorating pastries, it gave her a sense of purpose, something she hadn't felt in months. Then, one evening, as she closed up, a voice broke her routine. Trying to bake the sadness away? She turned to find a man standing in the doorway, tall, with an easy smile and eyes that seemed to see right through her walls. "Alex," he introduced himself. "Looks like we're both new around here." Emma had no interest in meeting someone new. She wasn't ready, but Alex didn't seem to want anything from her. He just talked about the town, about life, about nothing in particular. Their conversations became a daily ritual. He'd stop by the bakery each morning with coffee and stay just long enough to make her laugh. Alex never asked about her past, and Emma never asked about his. But in those quiet moments, something unexpected began to grow. It wasn't love, not yet, but it was hope. And sometimes hope is the first step toward healing. Just as Emma started to feel whole again, her past came crashing back. One morning, as she wiped down the bakery counter, the door swung open. Liam. He looked the same, but Emma didn't. "I made a mistake," he said, his voice softer than she remembered. "I miss you." There was a time when those words would have shattered her, but now they felt hollow. She realized she didn't need Liam's validation. "I loved you," she said, her voice steady, "but I love myself more." With that, she turned away from the life she once thought she needed. That evening, Emma found Alex sitting on the pier, watching the sunset paint the sky in shades of orange and pink. "I saw Liam today," she admitted, sitting beside him. Alex didn't speak. He just listened, like he always did. "And I realized," she continued, "I'm exactly where I'm meant to be." Alex turned to her, his gaze soft but steady. "And where is that?" She smiled, feeling lighter than she had in years. "Here, with you, but more importantly, with myself." In that moment, Emma understood something profound. Joy isn't always about finding someone new. It's about finding yourself. And sometimes, that's the greatest love story of all. Life doesn't always unfold the way we expect. Sometimes, heartbreak is the beginning of a new chapter we didn't know we needed. Emma's story wasn't about finding someone to fix her. It was about finding the courage to fix herself. And in doing so, she discovered that joy isn't just about what you have, it's about who you become. Sometimes losing everything is the first step to finding yourself. Thank you for your time, friends.